J&J's Photo Art Marketing Cafe for February 2024. My name is Joanne Hennig, and I know most of you know who I am. I'd like to introduce Jessica, who's also.
Hello. Sorry. Hello, everyone. And thank you for coming today. Joanne, I'm just going to take this over just for a moment. You really have such a great topic, and I'm very excited for this topic for everyone. And the topic is how to be seen in basically a saturated art market. And I know you have so much information to go over, so I'll let you take it away.
I have a few pages of notes today. I did not have an opportunity to create a bit of a visual slideshow for all of you. So what I did was in the chat room, past the welcome notes, I have a few questions, main topics written there, starting with, have you created your own brand and logo, and then going down from there. And that's pretty much what I'm going to be going over. So I ask all of you if you wouldn't mind grabbing a pad and pencil, or pen, or whatever you utilize to record notes. But I think we're going to come into some information that, again, is going to prompt all of you to do a little introspective thinking, looking within yourself, looking within what it is that you're doing versus, maybe it's become stale for you. You're losing confidence in what it is that you're doing. But what I'm here to try and do is build your confidence back up, but get you to wrap yourself around the magic of telling your story. So I'd like to dive headfirst into this. It's going to be a bit of a roller coaster of creativity. We're going to twist, we're going to turn, we're going to reveal some new chapters in your life that you may not have been even looking at. And picture this as almost like the opening scene of a blockbuster movie into your life and who you are as an artist, as a person, and your place in the world, whether it be in your community or outside of that, or just within your art. So grab your caffeine or your popcorn or wherever you are in the world, and let's get into this a little bit. Again, if you have a notebook and you have that handy, draft your notes. And what I would suggest for all of you, and this is something that I've done over the years, is I have what I call a just like my marketing folder. And I'll put my tear sheets in there. If I'm taking certain notes along the way, and something might strike me today as being a connection for my marketing, I'll write that information down on a tear sheet and I'll throw it into my marketing folder. And when I run out of good ideas, or I run out of confidence, or whatever it is that's holding me back from doing what I need to be doing with my promotional efforts for my art photography, I open up that folder, I thumb through it, and there's usually, I'll find some promotional inspiration there. So let's just dig in a little bit. So the first question I'd like for you to answer, to think about in your promotional journey, is, how did you come to be in the business that you are in today? All right, so storytellers out there, let's kick off this meeting with a dose of introspection and a splash of original tales. Think of the original elements of why it is you're in the business that you are in today. Imagine your business journey is a thrilling movie plot, and how I came to be blockbuster movie. So today, we're not just discussing the products and the services, we're unraveling the backstory that makes your brand the superhero in the eyes of your customers. Why spill the beans on how you entered the creative business anyway, this creative business? Well, it's not just about revealing trade secrets. It's about building an emotional connection. And we've talked about this in previous J&J cafes, that one-on-one connection with the other person on the other side of your art, the other side of your portfolio. People don't just buy products, they invest in stories. Okay, they don't buy the product, they're investing in the story of the image. When I go through, and Jessica goes through the curation of the artwork that comes onto the Photo Art Pavilion website, one of the elements out of the 7 elements that we're looking for is a story. Does your image tell a story? Does there a connection of something that evokes an emotion? So we want to make sure we bring that to the forefront with you personally. So by sharing your journey, you're not just selling, you're inviting your audience into an adventure that is your brand. So let's flex your muscles, your storytelling muscles, as we go forward, and let's create a narrative for your customers and get them on the edge of their seats with their popcorn in hand and let them await the next chapter of your success story. So that's what I want you to think about. We're writing a movie about you. Okay. Next, I'd like to discuss, how did you get art enthusiasts interested in your art and ultimately led to your first sale? That's something to think about. I remember my first sale. It was a thrill. It was exciting. I felt like such a big shot. Like, I'm an artist. Now I could really say I'm an artist. But there was something a little bit deeper into that first purchase. So I invite you to reflect on this question, on how did you get that art enthusiast interested in your art, ultimately leading to that first sale. You might be thinking, why unearth this relic from the past? Well, consider this question, the treasure map to understanding the magic formula in your success. Your unique strategy not only unveils the charm that captures hearts, but also serves as a guide for future conquests. So sharing these insights isn't just a trip down memory lane, it's a masterclass in forward connecting you to the target audience. So things that you did in the past that evoke that emotion in that one art piece that sold, your very first piece, was there a magic formula that brought that success forward? And is that something that you can utilize today to continue the process of making art sales for yourself, creating that enthusiastic audience? So have you created your own brand and logo? Now, I know that I am heavily vested in Photo Art Pavilion, and the Photo Art Pavilion logo is watermarked on all of my work that is up on the Photo Art Pavilion website. But when I market out in the world of social media and my direct email campaigns, I have my own brand, Joanne Hennig Photography. I have my own URL, jhennigphoto.com, which jumps over to Photo Art Pavilion, and I have my own logo. Now, that doesn't mean I'm detracting from my portfolio where all my art resides and where all the purchase opportunities are available. What it does mean is I'm creating a brand of myself. I'm creating that emotional connection between myself and the art enthusiast on the other side. So just picture this. Okay, a scene where you made a conscious decision to step into the limelight and carve your own path. The question on the canvas is, when did you decide to create your own brand name? And if you have not, it's something that you want to think about. Okay, you want to think about having your own logo when you're doing your own promotional efforts on the side. That doesn't mean you can't drive people to your Photo Art Pavilion storefront where the purchase opportunities happen to be. By pinpointing the inception of your personal Mona Lisa, if you will, you're going to see other artists that are doing this. They're not just creators of stunning visuals, they are also creators of a brand. So when you do see other artists that are running into that success level that you may want to achieve, look at what it is that they're doing. And I'll guarantee you that there's a very, very good chance that they are working their own brand. And then once that brand becomes that connection between the art enthusiast or their audience, it becomes the connection that drives people over to the purchase opportunities. Anything else that you're doing, if I'm doing an exhibit, or if I'm involved in a workshop, I bring my brand to that. I do marry it with Photo Art Pavilion because I have a vested interest in Photo Art Pavilion, but I also separate myself as being the person behind the art. Not the company, but the person. That is a dual path for me. So you want to really color it in this chapter. Remember, we're making a movie here. Vibrant hues, big, broad strokes of excitement that go into your brand, your logo, your story. And then now you're going to be walking the walk and talking the talk of your brand, and that's how you're going to be captivating the fine art sales that you're looking for. So I'm going to break this down into 4 key strategies to keep your name brand in front of art enthusiasts. So first, you want to make sure that you curate an engaging online presence. You want to maintain an active and visual appealing online portfolio. And again, I'm going to tout Photo Art Pavilion, but I know that what we have there, each artist's page, is visually appealing. It is captivating. It's divided into the different genres, the classes of art, whether it be beaches or black and whites or whatever. But that is a visually appealing place where you want to bring your art enthusiasts to. You want to leverage your social media platforms to share the behind the scenes glimpses and your creative process of your finished artworks. This is something that we all fail to do. I know I failed to do this. I am not so very good at bringing my followers behind the scenes to take a look at how I got from the original image to the final art piece that I've created. And I'll tell you, like I wow myself. So I need to get better at transferring that wow that I'm doing for me, of like this image that came right out of my camera. I may have cropped it a certain way. I may have flipped it from a horizontal to a vertical. I may have punched up the saturation, played around with some other tools, digital filters and so forth. But what I did was I took this image and I went through a creative process to create that finished art piece. And when people get all crazed and wonder, excited about that finished art piece, I bet you I can get them even more excited if I show them my creative process. So I'm going to challenge not only myself, but I'm also going to challenge all of you to think of one or two art pieces in your portfolio and go find the original, and then perhaps do a short little recording of yourself going through, maybe even just screenshots of, here's the original, I did this, I did that, I did this, here's the finished piece. To bring the enthusiast into your creative process really proves that you are a professional as an art photographer and an artist. So think about that. And you want to be able to then engage them with the comments, because as you're posting into social media, your creative process that you're going through in your social media posts, you're probably going to get a lot more comments in your social media feed, and also probably a lot more direct messages. Polls, you can also do polls in your social media that you could say, I had, here's my original image, I processed it and I came up with item A, and I processed it a second time and I came up with item B, or art piece A, art piece B. And then do a poll and see who, what they like. Now you're creating engagement in your social media. And when you're doing so, again, that's where the enthusiasm starts to grow for your audience. Also, for strategies to keep your brand name in front of other art enthusiasts, is to participate in artistic events and collaborations. I challenge you, attend art exhibits, even if you're not in the exhibit. Go to art fairs and festivals to connect with other people in this field. Sitting home in front of your computer, creating art is a very solitary thing, and it's not really going to create a ton of enthusiasm around your brand. Remember, we're talking about you, not just your art. It's not going to create a lot of enthusiasm around you if you're not getting out, meeting others in the same field as you. Those exhibits and fairs and festivals are all great places to go. And the other thing that you can try to do is collaborate with fellow artists or influencers to tap into new audiences. I have done art shows in the past with other artists, like to a side-by-side art presentation where, let's say the theme might be barns. I'm just saying that because we have one coming up. But let's say the theme is barns, and the artist that I am collaborating with happens to be a member of a different gallery or a different exhibit, and they could bring in a guest. Now I'm collaborating, I'm meeting new people, I'm getting my artwork on the wall, I'm meeting new people in the same art space, and we've got a side-by-side comparison of my artwork with the other artist's artwork, and then the whole pool of artwork. So this is a great way to keep opening up your audience and bringing in new people into becoming fans of yours. And of course, the virtual events are always great to do. Photo Pavilion does do a few virtual open calls. They're really great. We do workshops and other live sessions that help you interact with your audience in real time. So I encourage you to get involved in other things besides just creating art and posting it on social media. Spread your wings a little bit, tell your story, create your brand, and see where that takes you. So to be a storyteller, you have to share the story behind your art. Because people, they love narratives, right? They want to hear your compelling story, your relatable story. There's going to be something that's going to relate to someone out there on the way you tell your story. Yesterday afternoon, I had a great conversation with a potential artist who's looking to join Photo Art Pavilion. And he's a 20-year Army vet, now living, he's homeless, but living in good luxury in a tented camp. And he's got his computer and his Wi-Fi and his Nikon camera, and he's out there doing his thing. And I simply said to him, I said, "Man, you have an amazing story to tell. If I were him, I would get involved in writing those blog posts and bringing those stories into his social media feed and getting people to really enjoy what it is, where he came from, what he's doing now, where he's going. What he loves to do is pack up his tent and head over to the next space with his camera and work the grounds and work the art into what he's doing." And I said, "Those are really great stories." So if people get to know him a little bit deeper into what it is, where he came from, and what it is that he's doing, I guarantee that people are going to latch on to the art that he creates at the end of it all. So that's just a little side story there, but I think that your narrative matters, whether you realize it or not. I need you also to think from a storytelling point of view, to always be consistent in your branding and your messaging with your target audience. As I said before, I have a short domain name, jhenigphoto.com. I purchased that. I have it forward directly over to my Photo Art Pavilion gallery page, homepage. So that's part of my my branding. My logo is part of my branding, and my name is part of my branding. And that's what my target audience sees, and that's what they always see. And I think I encourage all of you to do the same thing, to kind of pinpoint a few things that always are going to be a part of what your audience sees when it relates to your art being displayed somewhere. Use those blogs, use some videos. If you're not so comfortable with videos, practice a little bit. Can't hurt. It's a video, it's digital. You can delete it and start over. And if you have an opportunity, not all of us have this, but an opportunity to be interviewed, to further expand your narrative, then definitely do that. Photo Art Pavilion does invite artists to be interviewed by us. I've sent out some emails, and we've created some blog posts that feature a specific artist with their story, what it is, what their journey is all about, their brand, and with a lot of links over to their artwork. So if you're interested in having your story narrated by us, by myself or Jessica as the curators of Photo Art Pavilion, happy to bring that to the forefront for you and make that part of your story. Okay. You also want to make sure you build and nurture that mailing list. If you've been on these J&J Cafe meetings, you know that that is my thing. We have proved the metrics over and over and over again. The amount of time that it goes into creating a newsletter is minimal compared to the amount of time that goes into creating social media posts for an entire month. It's one newsletter a month. It's one story. You can create, put your updates of where you're at that month, what you're doing that month. It doesn't have to always be about sales. And again, what we're looking here in this meeting is to talk to you about telling your story. So if you're if you're doing that once a month email marketing newsletter, maybe you divide it into segments, and maybe the first segment is what you did last month, where you're going, before, during, after, like kind of find a way to make this something that flows to the reader, but certainly nurture that list. Make sure you build that list every chance you get, and bring your audience a nice story every time you send out that newsletter. And I'm telling you, it might seem difficult to do at first, but once you create that first newsletter, you can sort of use that template to bring it forward for the next month and the next month and the next month. Your story is always going to change, but that mailing list is going to be the most powerful thing that you have in your arsenal. I guarantee it. All right, so now we've got a few housekeeping things out of the way. So what kind of growth levers have you pulled and which ones are working the best? So let's turn our attention towards the expansive horizon of growth, okay? I want each of you to kind of reflect on this critical question. What growth levers have you pulled and which ones are working the best for you? So understanding the levers you've pulled and dissecting what has worked and what has not worked allows you to navigate the growth with precision. So as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, as we're doing the marketing newsletters or our direct email campaigns, and then we're doing social media, we've been able to build metrics. And by looking at those metrics, we're able to navigate our growth with precision and say, okay, we're going to put more attention over here versus over there. We're going to put more attention on abstract art versus wildlife, whatever. But we know what it is that's bringing us growth. So of course we're going to put a greater emphasis on those things that are going to bring us growth. So I ask you to do that for yourself as your own boss in this business. So identifying all of these items and unraveling your growth strategies that worked best for you, you're essentially holding the key to unlocking your full potential. It's not just about checking the boxes or chasing a trend. We bring you the trends, right? We do these marketing meetings to kind of open up what the trends are. I know we did a J&J Cafe maybe a year and a half ago about something very similar to this, which was telling your story and opening up your brand. But the trends have changed and the marketing strategies have changed, and they're always going to change. So you want to be focusing on doing that digital marketing and pinpointing your most effective growth lever so that you know where to put your energy and your efforts. And then, truthfully, what services and people are in your team to help you scale your efforts? This is a big question, and I'm not looking to sway anybody in one direction or another, but no man is an island. If you're on an island by yourself, you're probably starving and looking for food constantly. There are many services out there that we have brought together to you guys over the years. We've talked about different email marketing services. Canva is a great service to create visual appealing art pieces, not art pieces, social media pieces and all of that. So you know that creating your art requires more than a click of the release of the shutter as well. So let's put together what are those things that you're using to help you have people around you that are there to help you. Like what services and people make up your artistic dream team to help you scale your efforts. Okay, your team is going to be your backbone. It's the behind the scenes magic that turns your vision into that reality. So perhaps you have a social media person who orchestrates your online presence, or a marketing agency that crafts your campaigns that resonate, or a trusted circle even that provides critiques and inspiration that's around your art. So don't forget about those unsung heroes that are in your life, those tech wizards and those logistical masterminds, if you will, to help ensure that your creative journey is always in a smooth sailing setup. So understanding that the composition of your team isn't just logistics, it's a testament to the power of your collaboration. Okay, by acknowledging those roles of those people and services that are in your immediate realm, those are the things that are going to fuel your growth. And again, you could look at them just like you look at the metrics of your social media posts or your email posts. I'm working with this person and that person and this company and that person. What are the things that are working and what are the things that are just draining your budget? Okay, look at that and look at that with a hard eye. Okay, and just take a moment to tell the story about them as well within your social media. I think it's a good idea to talk up. I mean, we do it when we do these J&J cafes. We're talking about those unsung heroes that we work with, the active campaigns, the canvas, and all the other tools that we utilize to help keep this platform vibrant and effective for all of you. So what are those unsung heroes, or who are those unsung heroes in your world? And what can you do to help bring them out? Maybe it's a gallery that you're working with. Maybe you want to tell a story about a gallery. Maybe it's a studio that you rent to do your editing or whatever, or maybe it's your darn computer that you just bought and it's brand new and you absolutely love it, or it's Photoshop or it's Lightroom or it's whatever, or it's a new actions that you've purchased that help you navigate your editing with one or two clicks. So by sharing all of that information with your audience, again, what that opens up is a form of collaboration. Okay, so if let's say I'm doing a social media post and I'm touting the latest actions that I just purchased from, I forget the guy's name, but I just purchased a bunch of actions, and I wish I could remember. But I think that that's a great way for me to go through my social media, a picture, again, taking something that I'm not very good at, but I will get better, my original photo, apply that action, and then show the final art piece. And then now I have the opportunity to tag that person that I purchased those actions from. And now I've got the ability to create a collaboration. And maybe he takes my art or she takes my art and shows it to their audience and says, look at what so-and-so did with my actions. So think a little bit outside the box of how you can build a little bit more of a team around yourself and give them the credit where the credit is due. All right, this is a good one for us to think about. Is your messaging boiled down to a soundbite? Do you have a 1-minute soundbite memorized to the point that it easily rolls off your tongue? Haha, tough one. I think we all have it, but I don't think it easily rolls off our tongue. And I think a couple of J&J cafes ago, we did a whole thing about simply, I think the title of the cafe was learning to say, I'm an artist. And we all went, yeah, we are artists. So if you have an opportunity, and I think you should, get your 1-minute soundbite memorized so that when you are out there collaborating and walking through other exhibits and so forth, and someone comes up to you and says, hey, how are you? Who are you? Boom, out comes that 1-minute soundbite. Okay, so an example that I have written down in my notes here is that a soundbite that you can also put in your profiles too, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, whatever. But here's one that I wrote down. It says, through my lens, I paint the light and capture moments that transcend reality. Every photograph is a visual poem, weaving emotions into a timeless tapestry of beauty and narrative. I don't just take pictures, I compose stories that linger in the soul. That's a pretty deep statement, and I'm not saying that all of you are there or that resonates with any of you or all of you or none of you, but just get to a point where you can have that soundbite ready to go, ready to roll, and make it part of, again, just like your branding. That's who you are. That is a story of you in a 1-minute soundbite. Okay, so just think about that going forward. Do you discuss your finished product features with your audience? I want to emphasize the importance of openly discussing the features of your completed artworks with your audience. So beyond captivating the visuals, your audience is eager to really understand the craftsmanship and the thought behind each finished art piece. So we're kind of layering over something we a little bit touched on before. But by sharing the technical aspects, the creative process, and the unique techniques that you've employed, you not only offer an educational experience to your audience, but you're also forging a deeper connection. Okay, so this discussion is not just about unveiling the intricate elements of your art, but it's an opportunity to really, I would say, guide your audience through the narrative that you wove into the detail of that art piece. So engaging in this will help open up, engaging in the conversations about your finished art piece. Again, giving the person that's viewing your work, whether it be in a direct email campaign or on social media or elsewhere, giving them the ability to engage in a conversation with you so that they can get a better understanding about you, your art, and all the things that amplify what it is that you're doing. It's a great way to invite your audience to chat with you, to have a conversation with you, and to maybe even develop a sense of appreciation for what it is that you're doing. I remember when I first started in this business, 2007, it was like, oh, you just take pictures. You just take pictures. I can take pictures. Well, let's think a little bit deeper than that, and let's prove to the person on the other side of that conversation that that is not true. That's not what we do. Okay, what we're doing is we're captivating our audience through the expertise that we have put forth in every art piece that we've developed and put out there for people to view and give them the opportunity to purchase. Okay, so now finally, I'd like you to just think about adapting and being efficient. So not everything that we talk about in these J&J cafes are going to resonate with you from the beginning of the conversation to the end, but I just want you to, again, create that marketing folder. If something hits a nerve, makes you feel excited, jot it down on a piece of paper, tear it out, throw it in the marketing folder. And at some point when you run into a little bit of a roadblock, you'll be able to adapt and be efficient in what it is that you're doing with your art marketing. So we're always going to be evolving. The landscape of creativity and commerce is always going to be evolving. So what you're doing now currently is great. Keep it up. Be constant. Don't make it a rarity of what it is that you're doing, but make sure that you're always open to being adaptive and efficient. I mean, when we first started with Instagram, it was just a post. Now you've got reels and videos and stories and music and all kinds of stuff going on there. So be adaptive, run your metrics, be the brand, tell your story, be proud of who you are, what your art is all about, and just keep going at it, because you're I think a lot of you are doing some really, really great things with your artwork. I notice as I do the curating, the the work is really getting outrageously good, and it's exciting. It's exciting for me to be a part of that portfolio, or that platform, I should say, and I hope it remains exciting for all of you. So I think I've run out of things to say at this moment. But I'd love to get Jessica's take on this meeting, because I know she's hearing it for the first time. She's been traveling, my little.
I'm busy. Oh my goodness, Joanne, that was fantastic. And while you were talking, it brought me back to a book I read. And of course, I can't remember the book or the author, but it was an entrepreneur book, and it talks about finding your why. And finding your why allows you to create your story and maybe even dive a little bit deeper than what you originally thought you would when creating your story. So I believe what they said was, grab a sheet of paper, pen, pencil, whatever makes you happy, and start jotting down, why am I a photographer? Then you obviously write your response and then ask why. Now you keep doing this maybe 4 or 5 times, breaking down the different elements as to your why. And you might discover something new within you and what you're passionate about, and it just helps create a little bit more of a dynamic when writing your story. Granted, we all kind of have this idea of our story, but it's not official until you put it down on paper. And then the other tip too, when writing anything, blog posts, whatever, I believe it's usually like you write it once, you review it 3 times, and then that 4th time is your version that you release to the public. So that also is a helpful tip, no matter what you're writing, as far as a blog post, your story. Perhaps it's a fun story of something that happened to you in the field, whatever it is, usually about 3 drafts, and then you're good to go. But Joanne, yeah, people connect with people. They connect with the story. They connect with you because of what you're offering them and how you're keeping them engaged. So by getting real, by having these basically one-sided conversations until people start commenting, it really helps to keep your audience connected. And yes, you really want to focus on your email marketing. Email marketing, those are your VIPs. Those are the people that have signed up because they want your information, your story, you in their inbox. So, it's just a matter of, again, once a month, putting together an email to be able to connect them and tell them a little bit deeper about what's going on. Obviously social media will have one side, and you could always say any kind of story you're posting on social media, get to know me a little bit more, let's sign up for that email newsletter. And that's where you really dive in a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh my goodness, Joanne,
Yeah.
fantastic. I love these questions too that you have on the side. So if anybody
Yeah.
hasn't done so already, copy it, throw it into a digital file. And these are great questions to ask yourself, offline and so on. And it just, again, gives you a different narrative to talk about you as a art photographer.
Yeah, absolutely. The one of the going back a few years now, but we used to do these marketing minutes,
Um,
and one of the most trafficked marketing minutes was actually an outtake. When I was recording it in my house, and I had the phone recording me, and I'm telling the little marketing minute, and there's my dog walking behind me and barking and whatever, and I'm just I just started following him with the video, and it became like the most liked video for the marketing minutes because people, again, they want to see you. They see the art, they're captivated with that, but the person behind the art becomes that real connection. So that's kind of really, I think Jessica and I are getting at the same thing. It's like, let's be good about telling our story, and let's be good about sharing that with our audience. And then let's be good at making use of the metrics that we have that tell us where our audience is really paying the closest attention to what it is that we're doing and saying. And again, for me personally, it's been my direct email campaigns because they open it, they read it, they click, they end over at my photo art pavilion gallery. That's where they go. If they're in social media, not every social media post allows for a click over, especially Instagram, unless you're doing a story and you're burying the link, and think of the time that it takes to do that. Like I could, if I had to do one story a week, the time that it takes to write one story a week, to add the link and find the media and put the message and blah 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 blah, I can write an entire digital email campaign for the month. And just one newsletter a month is what's going to bring my audience and stay connected to me, my brand, and my art. So that's me. Everybody has their niche. So I encourage you to chase it. Um, if you have additional questions, it's hello@photoartpavilion.com. I'm Joanne. You met Jessica. Feel free. We're happy to answer your questions.
And again, thank you, Joanne, for your topic today. It's fantastic. And
Awesome.
yeah,
All
thank
right.
you.
Have a great day, everybody. Stay creative.